Hello there and welcome
to the new channel.
Here to help you see
the new you.
My name is Carmine Ortega.
Dennis Calamba.
This is Nato Agbayani.
My name is Juan Lu.
I'm Chino.
I'm Trisha.
This is Apple Manansada.
This is Attorney Carlo Ibanez.
This is Attorney Sheila Santiago.
This is Angie.
This is Argamit.
My name is Dante Salama.
This is Jesse Francis Rebustillo.
I'm Dania Cunha.
Mon Mendoza.
I am Mopet Erhino.
I'm Leo Bryan.
Mike.
Nice one, dear.
Sir Al Ian Barcelona.
Marvin Salazar.
This is Sunny Haldons.
Heidi Lumainos.
This is Ivan Jude.
Patrick Hieronimo.
Alan Perez.
My name is Erwin Ursua.
My name is Bob.
My name is Lloyd Luna and this is
Future.
The Talk.
Family Business.
The Puppet Stories.
After Shift.
PNC Town Hall.
YOLO.
Marketplace.
The Home Buyer.
HR Hotline.
Danny Art Show.
Hotline.
Foreign Affairs.
COVID Stories.
Awesome Day Show.
Thank you.
Money and more.
Cybernext.
Women at Work.
Win Within.
Port Project.
The Big Picture.
Sometimes life lets you down and you feel that you are done. You just want a morning run because the fun is all gone. But sometimes life makes you proud when you look far and wide, when you leave the pain behind and see the brighter side. TNC gives you inspiration. TNC reignites your passion. TNC starts your transformation. TNC helps you see the new you. Sometimes life makes you blind and you choose something bad. You just wanna cry and hide and save your face from the crowd. But sometimes life makes you see the beauty in you and me. When you look up above, there is God and there is love. TNC gives you inspiration. TNC reignites your passion. TNC starts your transformation. TNC helps you see the new. We're here to help you see the newness of life. We're here to help you feel your hope is so real. You got the power to see. We'll help you see the new you. TNC gives you inspiration. TNC reignites your passion. TNC starts your transformation. TNC helps you see the new you.
The new channel. The new channel. The views, opinions, and insights expressed in the following show are those of the hosts, producers, guests, and viewers. They do not necessarily reflect the position of the channel. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the new channel. Here to help you see the new you. This is Jesse Francis Rebustillo, the host of this wonderful program, the HR Hotline. Welcome back to the HR Out Hotline. This is the second episode of the fourth season. We just started last Saturday. And as I told you, it coincided with my 64th birthday week. I'm so happy today because it tells us that life goes on and we have to move on. And today is a busy day for me. Right after this, I'm going to have a webinar to a topic that I love most, which is enhancing emotional intelligence and adaptability quotient to a government agency. It will run for 3 days. So I'm busy. And next week, there will be the PSTD, the Philippine Society for Talent Development National Conference. And of course, tomorrow is Pasha. And then we have PMAPS IR Summit. So it's full. But I'm still afraid to go out. I am 64. I have invitations. Edie Rene of PMAP, the executive director of PMAP, texted me and insisting that he will treat me for my birthday and all the things that I'm doing for free to PMAP. Grace Bondad Nicolas, I just received an invitation for the awards night in hotels. Fidel Iblasin just this morning called me up for a meetup in down south, Icop, Calabarzon. But I'm still afraid. I'm still afraid to go out. Maybe if there's a fear, I'll be forced to go out. Anyway, life must go on. And I am doing well. I had some stomach ache the other day. I texted my niece, the doctor, to look into what I should take. All the supplements I'm taking, the serpentina for my diabetes, and the insulin plant. And of course, if you can see the Monsera plant, I do that. And of course, all the Christmas decor to make me busy and to move on, to live and thrive in this new normal, and to take a lot of vitamins, and to take this. I'm taking this, which is why if you look at me, I'm so bubbly. I advise that to everybody, even to my adopted sons. I'm asking them to take all the vitamins. Now, why is it that I am doing this? Because I have to take care of ourselves. And what made me really so up and about? The elections in the US of A. It inspired me. It's giving me hope. It's not who won. It's the speeches that I really was so inspired. That one of, I'm going to tell my nephew is a priest to sing. What is that? Eagle's wings. Eagle's wings. The one that was mentioned in the speech of Mr. Biden. And then that one of restoring the soul of the nation. It struck me. Now I can remember. Why have that in my heart, in my system? It is due to Mr. Revilla, George Revilla. May he rest in peace. He was one of my first mentor, student assistance committee. But before that, I was also very much engaged with hands-on. No. What is that song? Get up in the morning, We put it on the street. And then, of course, Student Assistance Committee. Twice, I I was a vice mayor. Then I was a mayor in the City Youth Week in Legazpi. So early in my growing up, when I was molded, there is what we call the sense of nationalism, the sense of loving our country. Up to when I was in college. Then I graduated with honors, and I have to thank government for giving me the opportunity to work with government. To jump later when I was the HR director of Inquirer, there was a trend of having the employees wear national costumes. I don't know if they still do that now. And then commemorating the Independence Day week. I make it a point that there should be always that sense of nationalism, the sense of patriotism. Another jump. This is actually the portion of insights. The times that I was out of the country, Siem Reap, Bangkok, Jakarta, when the Philippine national anthem was being played, iyakin po ako. Tears flow. So it just means that there is something in me, that sense of patriotism. I buy Filipino. Notice the paintings at my back. Notice the angels. I really go with the music, the culture. Now, as HR people, what is our role? How do we inspire and motivate people to have that sense, to have that love of country? Do we have programs? It was intentional that I'm wearing this shirt. Can you see the logo? Of course, I'm just following the trend. But you know, at this time, I have to buy local. I have to buy local. So this is the topic for today, for this episode. It's nationalism, it's patriotism. And I invited a dear friend. Not everyone knows that we are friends. Since we were starting way, maybe 2 decades or more than ago, I don't even know if it was a PMAP event. I heard him talk. He's so good. Very PAPS, the Philippine Association for Professional Speaker. He has the expertise, the eloquence, the ethics, very enterprising, and there is an extension from him. He is a graduate from Ateneo and took his Bachelor of Laws in UST. I think which is why we click and we jam. Because I am UST Legazpi, then I took my MBA in Ateneo. I think that is the connection why we are. Yeah, I'll tell him that later. Then I know he took a certification from Harvard. He used to be with Globe. By the way, thank you, Globe, for the Globe at home. I actually have two connectivity, Globe at home and Converge. And in my room, it's Globe at home. Globe and then Waters, Manila Waters. And then, of course, PMAP. Very, very active in PMAP. He's actually now a board of trustee, a member of the board of trustee of the PMAP Foundation. He is now the president of the Ayala Foundation. Ladies and gentlemen, let us meet my dear friend. By the way, before I call him, he's a very loving person because he's my friend on FB. Forget everything that I mentioned earlier. He is a perfect, loving husband, a father, and he bikes. That is one thing that he can do that I cannot do because I am a habalaba. I am just a back rider. But I can see that this guy can get much because he can really ride and zoom in a bike. Ladies and gentlemen, let us meet my dear friend, Mr. Ruel Maranan.
Wow, thank you so much, Jesse. You're
Not
always
so.
so generous,
Yes, not for the bike, but for the jackets that you're wearing.
Okay,
I
thank you.
I stalk you well. I stalk you. I'm so glad. I'm so glad that you're. And then of course, how you love your wife and everything. Wherever you go, you post it. And then you're. Where did you grow up? Here in Manila or somewhere else?
No, actually, I was born here in Manila. The thing is, I'll tell you, where this Shangri-La Mall is? That is where I literally came out of the picture of her mom's womb. And she was rushed to the hospital. It used to be a gas station. It used to be our gasoline station. So I always tell people, to your point, my siblings would kid me that my blood is actually mixed with fuel. And literally a shopper because the first thing I saw was the future mall site.
I see. But you grew up here in Manila.
Yes, I did.
But you know, I am just reading between the lines when you post. It's so Philippine. It's so humble, as if you grew up in the province. There is not a thing of somebody who grew up in the metropolis. That is why I love you. That is why I love you so. But
Thank you.
again, what are those paintings at your back?
Well, true enough, it comes from friends who actually ventured into becoming full-time artists. So I was with them when they were just starting, and I'm so proud of these guys. So I'm fortunate that when they were starting, I'm a recipient of their first works, anything that they venture into. And a lot of people are not aware of this. I am an authentic picker. I'm very fond of all things, as you can see, even behind me. These are old windows that I repurpose. Similarly, I'm a junkie. This is a catalytic converter of one of my motorbikes, which I turned into a lampshade to lighting fixture. So, and this brick wall is my own. During the quarantine, I started working on it to change the ambience or to add ambience here in my workplace.
You call that the finer things in life. Very aesthetic eye, which we should influence HR. A lot of us have a lot of competencies, but we sometimes miss the aesthetic sense. We have the clinical eye to look on who will be the best person to come in, but we don't have the aesthetic eye. And then I know, tell me. I know you have been engaged with Ayala Museum.
Yes. Actually, fortunately for us, I oversee Ayala Foundation, and that was actually the privilege that I got straight from an HR role to oversee the whole foundation. And under the foundation, we have the Ayala Museum, which is famously, obviously, located in Makati in a very, very prominent and strategic place. And on the other hand, we have Filipinas Heritage Library that used to be housed, for some of you who will remember, that used to be Nielsen Tower and now is the famous Blackbird. So that used to be our library, but still, the library is now housed together with the museum. It's one floor there, and we have actually injected a lot of digital applications or approaches because we have to be relevant with the call of the times, Jesse.
Is it open? Pardon my ignoramus question. Is it open?
No. Perfect question, because some people who still brave going out see that we are under construction since last year. And barring any situation, we are really off to be launching by next year, sometime next year. Now, instead of that being a setback, it actually became an opportunity for us, particularly when the pandemic came, because it just accelerated our digitalization initiatives. So we are not only on site as we used to be known, meaning to go to the museum, but we are now heavily online. So even, all the time now, you could...
I don't know that. So I can still view you? Oh, come on, Ruel.
Yes.
Tell me. What is the link? What do you call it?
You can just access we have a slew of programs, no? Both for the library and for the museum. We are really up and about. We're engaging not only our regular partners, but we have already started getting a lot of the younger generation by going online. Jesse, you can do online shopping. We have Ayala Museum shop online. It will be delivered at your doorstep at very reasonable prices.
No, I just click in Ayala Museum.
Yes, we have an online shop.
I'm still so poor with I'm not savvy with
No, it's okay. That's exactly, your type is exactly what we want to cater to. No? We will make it so easy for you that with just a few clicks by accessing us, you can have it delivered at your footstep. And
Ruel, I'm full of questions for you, but I'm not interested with this conversation. Before pre-COVID, around 5 years ago, when my mom was still coming here to Manila, every time that she's here, we usually have a date in your Ayala Museum. How about how do you pronounce it? Diorama or diorama?
The dioramas are still there because it's already art pieces by itself. Remember, that was done several decades ago. So the craftsmanship, unfortunately, very few artisans are left now. So when you speak of the dioramas that we have there, those are practically art pieces. What we did was to invoke digital interventions. We really came out with virtual realities. That, for example, when you see a diorama of the execution of Jose Rizal, that's it. With virtual reality, we are now giving you the option to be a viewer during the execution.
Wow!
You could be one of those who executed Rizal, and then you could be Jose Rizal being executed. But the thing is, we are now creatively provoking by sharing questions. If you're an audience, will you turn away? If you're the shooter, will you shoot? If you're Jose Rizal, the question is, are the Filipinos worth dying for?
Wow.
So, our youth now are more engaged than ever. And of course, even the earlier generations, you are given a preview of that. No? So we are heavy into injecting a lot of our technology. We're really leveraging on technology. And I think this is exactly what pandemic did to us. There's a joke.
Is it already available? Can we experience that already?
Oh yes, yes. That's a virtual reality. You could see it in YouTube. You could do online, as I mentioned earlier.
Right after this, I will do that. I will do.
Yeah, the whole program of Ayala Museum.
Why are we not promoting this in PMAP? We should promote this in PMAP so that everybody can feel the experience. And I can smell, I can read, hear, see between the lines, Ruel Mariano there. Those questions are very Ruel. Say if you are Rizal and you are being executed, will you run away? That is very Maranan. That is very Ruel. I came from Inquirer and I know where the slant is.
No, but Jesse, I would like to take credit, but I have to really give it to my team, especially the young talents.
How humble of you! But I can really see your fingerprint in that video. Wow, nice! How wonderful!
My role there is just to really, just like you, we are digital immigrants, Jesse, and I kept on asking the digital natives, the younger generation, and wonders of wonders. They will run with the ideas and really come out better than what we expected. So even as you mentioned, the program, it's actually there. The whole program, you can have your weekly dates still online. You don't have to go through the traffic. You will hear concerts. You can read books. You can do research. It's all there. And DepEd is actually a partner of ours for their blended learning. We are trying to make this more accessible for our students, especially the public school students, the private school, of course. They can really access this in the confines of their homes. So learning is made more accessible, easier, and really available for everyone. So, biro ko nga wala nang mahina ang isip ngayon. Kailangan lang masipag ka para matutunan mo ang maraming bagay. May pandemya o wala. This is the best time for us to really accumulate a lot of new learnings. And I would say a lot of unlearning as well. Because this new normal, we have to twist it to really make it a better normal. And, I just like to bank on our topic really, Jesse, when we speak of nationalism. And this is where we have been very passionate about, Jesse. Filipinos are the best, as I would say, the best citizens of the world. Outside the country, we really shine. Unfortunately, at times, and I dare to say this, the moment we land in our own country, and I have an anecdote of this, our country is such a healing country that even old people, the moment they land and the plane touches down on the tarmac, all of a sudden, those who are on wheelchair, all of a sudden can stand up. And I was telling them, they're rushing to go out and feel the breeze of the Philippines. But kidding aside, I always tell them, babalik at babalik ka kasi hindi naman nawawala sa bawat Pilipino ang pagmamahal natin sa bayan. And that being the case, we really made it a conscious decision in Ayala Foundation to resurrect or if not, remind our very own fellow Filipinos, that this is the high time, with or without pandemic, ito ang panahon para tayo manatiling maging magiting. And being magiting is not something big. It is actually the ordinary things we take for granted. And I always remind people, for example, tayo ba, tumatawid tayo sa tamang tawiran?
Right.
Tayo ba ay bumababa sa dapat na sa tamang babaan o sumasakay, no? Yung mga kinaugalian pinanggalian natin. And I like what you mentioned, Jessie, nung tinanong mo ko, kung lumaki ako sa probinsya. Hindi man ako lumaki sa probinsya, pero lagi, I look forward every time my parents, kasi certified probinsyano at probinsyana ang aking mga magulang. They were just both scholars. They were just both scholars. That's why they were able to come here to Manila and did very well for themselves. But they never left the roots. On the contrary, they really invested back. And number one, kaming mga anak, we made sure, or they made sure, that we know where they came from. Kasi yun ang mga matatandang kasabihan at kinaugalian na napakaganda. Kailangan malaman mo ang pinanggalingan mo para alam mo ang paroroonan mo. So, you know, we are just trying to go back to the basics. And for us, nationalism is something basic that in our challenging times, both local and global, no, that it turns to be more divisive. I always appeal to people, instead of looking at individual colors, why don't we look at the aggregate colors, particularly pertaining and focusing ourselves to our Philippine flag? Kasi kapag tinignan mo ang iba't ibang kulay at nakita mo ang kabuuan, this is the very essence why we as Filipinos, why we as professionals, why we as Filipino citizens are really working very hard, not only to work and earn a living, but really to make this country great as it has to be, and it used to be, no? And we have that power, we have that yung kakayahan, no? Sa yung tayong mga Pilipino, para ibalik at higitan pa ang kagandahan, kabutihan, at ang kahusayan ng Pilipinas sa pamamagitan ng bawat Pilipino kung magtutulong-tulong. Yeah. So that was the first step that we did. Actually, we collaborated with National Historical Commission of the Philippines, together with the Department of Education, with the Philippine National Police, with the Armed Forces, and other government agencies. And to the point that the Department of Education reissued a department order so that every start of the school year, the first 2 weeks is actually dedicated on the proper usage, decorum, appreciation, understanding, even all the way to the disposal of our Philippine.
That is your initiative. Galing pala sa inyo yun.
Yes, actually it's there. We, as a private sector, we didn't have to reinvent the wheel. We just reached out to them. And that's why we, on our first year, we were able to go nationwide, Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, and we were able to reach, generate 10,000 new flags. Kasi Jessie, kung mapapansin mo, napakalungkot kapag nakakakita ka ng dilapidated flag, yung mga punit-punit.
True, that's true.
Hindi siya makatarungan para yung sumisimbolo sa atin bilang bansa, bilang bayan, makikita mong ganon.
Alam mo dito sa village namin, when it is the flag week, ako lang ang naglalagay ng flag. I bought it. Yung para bang, I don't know what is that sense. Pero Ruel, I'm listening to you. It is time for the first break. When we come back, tell us more about this initiative coming from the, I would like to, ikaw magsabi, parang hindi ako magkamali. The Ayala Library, what is that?
Filipino Heritage Library and Ayala Museum under Ayala Foundation.
Okay, let's have the first break. Wonderful conversation. Welcome back to HR Hotline Direct. Can we have the posters that I would like to introduce the various TNC shows? Can we have them? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, there are various shows that you can tune in to the TNC. The Big Picture, of course, HR Hotline, the Family Business, the Fourth Project, and then Usapang Beauty, COVID Reports. These are true stories of those who uh, were cured from the pandemic. And then U-Turn, Dante Salamat's Home Buyer, the Puppet Stories, the Marketplace. I will be a guest because I would like to sell my plants. Then YOLO. Then we have Talk, Money and More, that talk. Then we have After Shift, Win Within, Johnny's Show. Then um, Foreign Affairs, Helpline, Women at Work, Awesome Day of my dear friend Al Ian Barcelona, then Cyber, NXT, and Tech You of the Pastor Marvin Salazar, and Town Hall and One Day. So always tune in. That's your best option, your alternative, the new normal now, which is the live streaming. Okay, Ruel, there are past presidents watching us. Uh, Hello, past President Barbie. Again, I watched your project broke in the afternoon, and of course, past President Robert Policarpo. We would like to say hello. Um, um, and Melanie Arcay, and of course, Maricor Militante, and a lot of our friends are viewing. And very, very much connected to this topic, which is nationalism and patriotism. And it is actually being initiated by Ayala Foundation. One is actually the museum, and the other one is the library. Up to now, I cannot pronounce it well. What is that library, Ruel?
The Filipinas Heritage Library. Just call it FHL.
The Filipinas
FHL.
Heritage
Heritage Library.
Library. Okay,
Yes.
heritage. So let me ask you this question. How can we show our love for our country at this time? What are the
You know,
initiatives that is being given to us by your foundation? How can we show
well,
our love for our country?
number one, I think given that we are in a very, very peculiar situation under a pandemic environment, I think number one, to manifest our love is to remain vigilant. I think number one, we have to be conscious that there is really a situation, a health situation. So therefore, in as much as we have our habits, it is important that we keep and uphold safety and health protocols. Number one, for ourselves, it's our duty to make ourselves healthy. Equally important, we have to respect and be mindful of others. And that's why in our respective workplaces, I think very important that if you feel, especially if you have symptoms, I think you have to really be assertive enough, no, to declare it, and it's your duty. More so if you're asymptomatic, no, asymptomatic.
Countryman. Oo naman.
Oo, importante. But Jesse, that's where I really like to appeal, no, that this is the perfect time to be more or extra sensitive. There is no room for indifference. Pananagutan natin kasi yan, hindi lang sa sarili, pero sa kapwa natin. Kaya yun ang sinasabi natin, napakahalaga niyan. Palagay ko, yan yung pinaka-obvious na dapat nating gawin. And while it's obvious, it's not easy. Dahil marami ang nangangailangan para maghanap buhay kahit ayaw nilang lumabas, napipilitan sila. Kaya nga ang paalala ko at pakiusap ko, meron po namang mga karampatang protocols. Sundin po natin. Huwag na po kayong mainis sa mga nagpapatupad. Trabaho lang po nila yan. Pero tungkulin po natin at pananagutan natin bilang Pilipino Bawal po ang magkasakit. Kailangan po tayong maging malusog. Kaya, kondisyonin natin ang sarili natin. No? Kung lalabas po tayo, dapat paghandaan natin. Kung nasa labas tayo, kahit gusto nating makipag-usap, makipagkwentuhan, limitahon po natin yan dahil para maproteksyonan ng sarili at ang kapwa natin. No? So, I mean, there is so much there na basic. No? But again, I really have to credit a lot of Filipinos as well because, you know, the reality, Jesse, mataas din ang mga nawala o nasawi. No?
Yes.
We have to put value to those number of people who sacrifice or who became victims. Oo. Para talagang may naging makabuluhan at hindi lang sila statistics. Kaya yun ang lagi ko lang paalala. And please, yung sphere of influence nyo lang. Kung lahat ay magiging parte ng solusyon, gagaang ang hinaharap natin. Yun ang pakiusap kung maging parte tayo ng solusyon. So, yun ang binabanggit ko. At sa Ayala Foundation, kasi may pandemya ka, dumadaan din tayo. Ito, alam mo to, Manoy, dahil tinamaan tayo ng bagyo na naman, di ba? Sunod-sunod na mga unos ito. Yan, alam nyo, wala tayo kung kaya nating tumulong, kung may maitutulong tayo, tumulong po tayo. Kaya nga itong nangyari ang mula Quezon, Batangas, Mindoro, tapos
Bicol,
exactly. I was just doing it sequentially. Talaga pong kalunos-lunos ang mga dinaanan ng bagyo. At hindi pa ho tumitigil dahil ito na naman, meron tayong mararanasan.
Ulysses is coming tomorrow.
Yes. So kami nga, meron kaming initiative dun sa mga far-flung areas like in Catanduanes. We had to coordinate with the local PDDRMOs there and we were told to hold for the meantime to avoid further situation dahil may panibagong bagyo. No? So importante, napakahalaga na merong close coordination both, sa national, sa local, at dun sa mga barangay levels and different established government agencies. Kasi kailangan coordinated tayo kasi kahit gusto po nating tumulong, kung pagdating nyo po doon hindi coordinated, be mindful. Marami yung lugar, walang kuryente, hindi po madaanan. Ang ating pong mga militar at kapulisan, hindi na po malaman ang haharapin dahil nandun yung magbabantay, tapos yung iba hindi coordinated, ina-expect sila na mag-mobilize. So, kailangan po preparasyon, koordinasyon, para tamang aksyon at tulong ang maibibigay natin sa ating mga kababayan.
Ruel, I'm listening to you. So the first one is actually responsibility and accountability as a Filipino. So follow the protocols and make sure you are healthy and then that you cannot infect. So that is responsibility as a person to your community. The second one is, I like it, compassion, malasakit. And then you're telling us that you can be generous, but you have to be aligned and coordinated. You have to collaborate. Hindi naman nabigay ka ng bigay, malasakit ka ng malasakit. Tapos, hindi naman, o baka naman nagpadala ka ng wedding gown. Hindi naman magagamit yung wedding gown. O, sinabi mo lang kuryente. Nagpadala ka doon ng mga na dapat i-refrigerate. Hindi naman pwede ma-refrigerate. Kasi wala namang Am I right, Ruel? The first one is accountability, and then the second one is malasakit, is compassion.
Yes.
But you're telling me, as a friend, the president of the foundation, you look into how it will be managed.
Definitely, and it's not us managing it, Jesse, because when you speak of Ayala Foundation, if you ask us point blank, we believe community development is definitely the way to go. And what is that? We actually engage the community to define their compelling needs. And the moment they are able to define their compelling needs, kasi alam nila ang tunay nilang pangangailangan. And therefore, the moment they do that, they are part of determining the suitable solutions for their needs. So kung kakayanin namin at kakayanin ng aming mga partners, bakit ang hindi? And the moment that they're able to define the suitable solutions, Jesse, sustainability becomes a byproduct. Kasi kaya nilang i-sustain dahil relevant sa pangangailangan nila.
Yes.
Kaya yung sinasabi kong napakahalaga, sa umpisa pa lang, naiintindihan natin and we take time to really engage the communities that we need or we want to help. Hindi yung tama yung biro mo, pero totoo yun. Kasi magdadala ka ng delata. Kung napunta ka doon, buong bahay na wala, paano bubuksan ng delata? So they need, pagdating sa relief area, cook food already. After a week or two, that is the time that when they are a bit settled, that they can now accept those proper relief. So pacing siya sa pangangailangan on the ground. At yun ang napakahalaga pagdating ng relief operations. Tatanungin mo, ibig sabihin hindi tatanggapin? Tatanggapin nila, pero ang tanong sa sarili natin sa nagbibigay, yung ba talaga ang naging pangangailangan nila? Kaya natatawa ka at minsan naiinis ka, bakit mababalitaan mo yung relief goods binebenta? Huwag kayong mag-react kasi paano nila kakainin yung delata? Paano bubuksan? Hindi naman pwedeng kagatin. Walang abrelata. Kung napunta po kayo at nakita nyo at naintindihan nyo ang dadatnan yung lugar, meron kaming taong pinapunta doon sa isang barangay doon sa Catanduanes. Dati mga 10 o mga mahigit 10 ang bahay. Ngayon, wala na pong nakatirik doon. So, magpapadala ka ng delata. Paano kakainin ng delata? Kaya, kung nakaka-coordinate po kayo sa lokal, yung delata pwedeng lutuin sa isang particular area of the local government offices there or organizations. And then now they distribute it as cooked food.
Ruel, let me catch you. May nakita kong post sa FB, sa iyo yun nakita ko doon sa SM Legazpi, ang bigat ng yung mga tama ka, Ruel, red, blue, yung mga
orange packs, yep.
And then parang it is ready to eat and it is magagamit nga talaga.
Yes, actually, those were actually items that were shared to us based on the needs on the ground. Tapos, coordinated kami with the local government units. And then they are the ones in charge even to determine where they can distribute it. Naging staging area namin, Jesse, what you saw on Facebook, fortunately.
Ayala kasi I saw it sa LCC, Kiromitan. Nakita ko sa
Correct.
Sa Ayala Mall. Doon sa nakita ko there was a picture on it. Pinadala niyo sa Ginubatan at sa
Correct. And that is in close coordination with our local partners. Hindi kami kumikilos kung hindi coordinated sa lokal, national at local. Kasi very important because kung maintindihan mo, like for example, you have to take the cue from national. DPWH will tell you whether possible or impossible ang national roads. So, kung gusto mong tumulong, huwag ka na makadagdag sa traffic. Yung mga basic na gano'n. Pag sinabi yung impossible, huwag mo munang ipilit. So, we do that. I mean, at times it sounds very logical, but we need that. Kasi it's already emotional. It's really chaotic already with what happened. So, we need to be calm. We have to be, composed so that we can better guide and best guide those who are in need. And the government, as I always say, we complement, we never compete. It's really cooperation. It's a cooperation.
Ruel, kukulang ang oras natin. Do you still have one more? At least three. One is responsibility. The one is compassion. And one more to show our love of country. Remember ang topic natin.
Okay, I think this is very important, Jesse. Accountability. Hindi po, wala pong dapat sisihin tungkol sa pagmamahal sa ating bayan. Mag-uumpisa at magtatapos po sa ating sarili. We are the only ones accountable. We have to define the roles, the responsibilities, and the accountability of all stakeholders. May taya ho ang pamahalaan, may taya ang pribadong sektor, may taya ang bawat mamamayang Pilipino, Luzon, Visayas at Mindanao. Tandaan lang po natin, nationalism is both a privilege, a call to duty, our responsibility, our commitment. Wala akong perpektong bayan, pero lahat po tayo may kakayahan para paghusayin, pagandahin, paunlarin ang ating bayan. Yun po ang apila namin sa Ayala Foundation. I inherited a very beautiful tagline. The slogan goes, as one we can. I appealed to my team and I appealed to the rest of Ayala Group and they responded and now we're appealing to the bigger community. Make that slogan, as one we can, a way of life. Wala pong maliit, walang malaki. Bawat tulong, basta talagang taos at talagang gusto po nating ibigay at ibahagi, it will truly make a big difference. Kailangan po nating magtulong-tulong. Lahat po ng ideya, pagsama-samahin natin para mapaganda natin at mapahusay pa natin. So again, just to capture it, we have to determine our role, regardless of what our role is, so that we know and define our responsibilities. And at the end of the day, Jesse, and to all watching there, you are accountable for both your action and inaction. So be part of the solution.
Okay, we will have another break, and then after that, you were mentioning to me before we started, there was a program with the library, even pre-COVID. You mentioned that to that, and then you gave us your parting message. Therefore, can we have just short break before we end the day? Yes, there goes, ladies and gentlemen. We are in the last portion, and this is supposed to be the job fair. You know, on Thursday, we are now going to dedicate our Thursdays for HR Hotline, which is the question and answer and consultation, and the fair. So, starting Thursday, I will be inviting a guest like PP Obet, who will just be there. You can chat or send me questions, early questions, and then we're going to discuss it. Because of remember, the name of this show is HR Hotline. It's supposed to share with you what we can do with your concerns. And of course, the job fair. So let's have what we have here. A director. Yes, direct. We still have some positions to promote. We have from Puzzle Box. They say are looking for staff, office staff, and you can send your application to careers at puzzlebox.com and also at Algon. They're looking for from nurses down to security guards. Can we have the Algon poster, please? Yes. And then you can send your resumes to algonplace@gmail.com. Then I'm also promoting some events, and these are the Digital IR Summit of PMAP. It will be tomorrow, and it will be nice if you can just register now to join the Digital IR Summit of PMAP. And also, still with PMAP, can we have the next poster, please? Direct, please. Yes, the Digital National Convention of PSTD that will be next week, Monday next week. I will be doing the closing remarks on Wednesday. And we have Anthony Pangilinan and the president of RCBC as keynote speakers. Join us also. Then I am doing in PMAP a webinar assessing remote and virtual L&D programs. I am inviting you to join me. I am already prepared. I'm going to give to you ways to determine if your remote virtual learning and development programs are actually okay. Then also this one, I am promoting tomorrow, the Pasture World Fortifying Supply Chains for the Future. For all your operations managers who are engaged in the supply chain, you have to, this is free. Actually, this is free. And then the last one is, we still have one poster. Yes, that you believe, belong, and become a ASEA. And this is actually the one that I am taking. And then you can just contact or connect with Maricor Militante or Julia Rubilius. The numbers, the contact numbers are there. So there goes what are being promoted here in HR Hotline. Can we have Mr. Maranan, Ruel, back? Ruel,
Yes.
we have to have a part to this because we haven't discussed what we really have to discuss.
So true.
It is true. But you know, we have discussed what the foundation is doing and then we are connecting it. I hope you are you okay next Tuesday?
Oh, why not? I mean, as I told you, it will
Because I
always
don't
be.
want, I have that. I have some PPO, but I have on the second. I have around three. The COO of a tourism board, Antoinette Alionas. I had her also to come. She came back because ang hirap na bitin. Ang hirap na bitin. I still have to ask you about the national identity, the self-determination, and solidarity, which are actually the dimensions of nationalism. Not more on nationalism, more on patriotism, because nationalism is a very critical item to discuss. It's so divisive sometimes when we really become nationalistic. Now tell me, you were mentioning something that you were doing with the Heritage Library even pre-COVID. What was that?
No, actually, we really injected a lot of online for the Philippines Heritage Library. We take pride that we have the widest repository of World War II history when it comes to the materials. So much to learn from those materials. Fortunately, we have that. Equally important, a lot of the classic songs. We have put it on Spotify. A lot of our classic OPM songs. We just signed with OPM. So almost every month, we are able to capture it. So again, go online under Filipinas Heritage Library. Yung Muni Muni sa Spotify. Pwede ka, Jesse, magmuni-muni because you love our OPMs that are actually there. No?
I miss the awitan kita of who was the thing
PST.
of Armida.
So this is a no one can replace Armida Segyong Reyna, but you know you have the muni to fill in the gap, so to speak. Diba? So please
the Noro
do
Honor
access
songs. Ay nako Ruel, the Noro Honor songs, I miss that, ha? The Noro Honor songs.
Spotify lang yan. So you can avail of that, and so much research materials that I'm calling to yung mga mag-aaral, mga guro. Ito po yung talagang credible repository of research materials on our Philippine heritage. So please avail of it. Nandyan lang po yan. It's a click away from you. Yun ang gusto ko lang i-appeal sa kanila. So Jesse, I think
your important message for the HR, how they can inspire, motivate their people, that sense of patriotism. Please,
I hope you bear with me. No? Yeah, I just have a very short poem, Tagalog. Just like to capture it, that the essence of what we have talked and probably subsequent phase. Ang pamagat po nito na ginawa kong tula, Magiting na Pinoy. Isinilang ako sa bayang magiliw, masaya, makulay at tahimik. Hangin ay sariwa, mga tao ay nakatawa, buhay ay maginhawa. Dumaan ang mga taon, nasayang ang mga pagkakataon, nabaon sa utang, buhay ng tao ay naging lutang. Ano ang gagawin sa bayang kong magiliw, bago ang mga tao ay mabaliw? Isa na akong basang sisiw, sino ang dapat sisihin at usisain? Ako, ikaw, tayo ang lagot. Ako, ikaw, tayo ang sagot. Maging magiting. Sa isip, sa salita, at sa gawa, maging magiting. Dumaan sa tamang daan, magandang ugali ang sundan. Mag-aral para umunlad, upang buhay ay umusad. Huwag lang sarili ang isipin, kapwa ay dapat pansinin. Bigyang halaga para samahan ay gumanda. Dapat tandaan ang pinagdaanan, ang ating lahi ay nakatahi, isa Pinoy, isa Pinas. Maging bukas sa kinabukasan, mangarap, kumayod, magdasal ng lubusan, kakayanin kahit mahirap para marating ang pangarap. Ako, ikaw, tayo ang lagot. Ako, ikaw, tayo ang sagot. Maging magiting sa isip, sa salita at sa gawa, isa buhay, isa Pinoy, isa Pinas. Maraming salamat, Jesse. Maraming salamat sa inyong lahat.
Ang ganda, Ruel. Iba talaga ang Ruel Maranan. Nako, dapat... Thank you very much, Ruel. We'll talk after this. I will have you back because we really haven't discussed a lot of other things. But at this time, it is really overflowing. And you nailed it. And you nailed it. So, there goes, ladies and gentlemen. Nag-overtime po kami. Pero that is actually what HR Hotline would like to share for all of us HR. We have to inspire and have programs for our people. That we have to be magiting. Yung tula na binigkas ni Ruel. Tayo ang lagot. Tayo ang sagot. Dapat tayo ay magiting. Kaya ako ngayong hapon, biko ang aking kakainin. Huwag muna yung mga yung mga galing sa ibang bansa. Biko, tapos siguro halaya. Dapat ganon. Kasi dyan mag-uumpisa doon sa ating ako, ikaw, ang komunidad. Sa kinakain natin sa gawa, sa isip, sa gawa. Diba? Nakakatuwa. Diba sa HR, yung kapwa management, yung malasakit, bakit hindi natin yang gawin? At masunod. At it can be a worldwide thought. Diwa. This is a very Filipino. Malasakit. And then, yes, what is the Ayala Foundation is doing? Proper management of how a foundation should inculcate love of country. From being a responsible citizen, following the protocols, you are accountable to everybody, to being compassionate. But make sure being compassionate in the proper way. And then the last one is really be the accountability. Thank you very much, Ruel Maranan. Thank you very much for sharing with us what Ayala Foundation is actually spearheading and the initiatives. We will have you back here. Ladies and gentlemen, I am very much touched. I am a Bicolano, and there is Ulysses coming. I told you earlier, I was mentored by George Revilla in the Students Assistance Committee. The love for country, the sense of nationalism, the patriotism. Nagmumukha akong sometimes parang loko-loko sa tinangbayan. And lastly, I do the rosary every night, and I say every night an Our Father for Inang Philippines. This is Jesse Rebustillo. Just marvelous